Have you ever wondered what it would be like to read a map of someone's mind? Not a story, but the actual blueprint of their thoughts. Well, today we're diving into something just like that. It's a truly unique manuscript submitted by an author named Marcos Magalayas Duarte, or MMD. This thing defies all the usual categories, and we're going to deconstruct it using the publisher's own fascinating analysis as our guide. Right out of the gate, the editorial board at IP das Letras doesn't call this a book or a story. They call it a powerful testament to creative potency as a form of resistance. Whoa, that one sentence just sets the stage, doesn't it? We're not just reading words, we're witnessing an act of defiance. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at what makes this manuscript so unique. Then, we'll dive into its chaotic structure. After that, we'll try to crack the code of his core philosophy, look at the actual formulas he created, understand the big fight that's driving the whole thing, and finally wrap up with why the publisher calls it a textual artifact. All right, let's start at the beginning. What in the world did this editorial board receive that made them immediately realize it was something completely different from anything else they'd ever seen? The work is just titled MMD, and the board describes it as a singular textual artifact. I mean, that's not a term you just throw around, right? They saw it as this wild mix of art, public condemnation, deep philosophy, and, get this, linguistic performance. So right from page 1, you know this is going to be a complex ride. So how do you even structure something like that? Well, the short answer is you don't, not in any traditional way. MMD basically throws the entire rulebook out the window. But the publisher's analysis shows that this chaos, it has an architecture. It has a purpose. The term they came up with is textual collage. You have to imagine it less like a book and more like a database, or maybe a very intense scrapbook. It's nonlinear, it's fragmented, it's this jumble of lists and philosophical ideas all woven together. And it's totally intentional, a way to break free of normal writing and create a whole new kind of experience. And this right here, this is a perfect example of what they mean. Just look at this direct sample of his writing. The first thing you notice, zero punctuation. It's just this dense, looping stream of consciousness. It has its own rhythm, for sure, but man, you really have to work to find it. Okay, so if the structure is chaos, how does he create any meaning? Well, the publisher found that underneath it all, there's a really clear, consistent philosophy. And it all revolves around two core concepts, the code and the image. And this relationship is everything. For MMD, the imagem, or image, is basically the source code of reality. It's sacred, it's original, it's the absolute truth. And pensamento, or thought, is the action. It's the program that allows our minds to connect to that original image, to understand it, and maybe even to change reality itself. Now, here's where things get really, really weird and kind of amazing. MMD believes language itself holds a hidden code, and he creates this whole system for decoding it. His key? Usually his own name and his nickname, Incrível Pena, which means incredible pen. And the examples he uses to prove it? Superheroes. Okay, check this out. To get the name Superman, he literally pulls letters from his own names. He takes the S from Marcos and the P from Pena, and boom, you get super. Then he grabs the M from the end of his moniker, and there's your man. It's this completely self-contained internal logic. He's not just talking about a code, he's building it and using it right in front of you. And this system isn't just for playing around with names. No, MMD expands it into a set of real, tangible rules for how to think and live. He calls them the MMD formulas. And we're not just talking about a handful of ideas here. He presents a complete system of 70 distinct propositions. The publisher was blown away by them, saying they're this unique mix of mystical belief, psychological instructions, and an almost computer-like logic. Just to give you a taste of the range here, Formula 3 is simple, almost meditative. Imagine the light. Formula 12 goes right back to his core philosophy, connect the thought to the image. But then you get to Formula 33, attack and defense, in Formula 61, which is just telepathy. So these aren't just thoughts, he sees them as actual tools for taking action in the world. So all this talk of attack and defense brings us to the absolute heart of the entire manuscript. There's this incredibly powerful persona of the author at the center of it all, and he is fighting a war to protect his original, sacred image from a world he sees as totally corrupt and hostile. And the publisher's analysis just nails this voice. MMD's persona is all these things at once. He's the victim of vast conspiracies, but he's also the brilliant inventor of a new way of thinking. He's the creator of his own world, and at the same time, he's the judge, condemning anyone and everyone who threatens it.
So, who are the enemies in this war? Oh man, the list is something else. It ranges from huge, abstract concepts like plagiarism to entire institutions like science and religion. But then it gets deeply personal with these visceral insults. And then there are these huge specific targets, NASA, and even God himself.
And this quote, it just shows you the raw intensity of it all. He writes, NASA wanting to scrape the nickname, therefore I consider NASA guilty. The tone is so direct, so accusatory. You can just feel that deep paranoid energy the publisher was talking about. He believes these powerful forces are actively trying to steal his very identity. So, what do you do with all this? What does it all add up to? Let's circle back to the publisher's final assessment, where they pull all these different threads together to explain why this manuscript is so important. And they offer this powerful final metaphor, which I think is just perfect. The manuscript is a cartography of a mind. It's not a story. It's a map of an internal world, a world where this person believes he carries a sacred original language that is under constant attack from every direction. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea. For MMD, language is power. Words aren't just for describing things. They are tools. They are weapons for attack. They are shields for defense. They are keys for revelation, and they are the only way to achieve permanence. And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? MMD's manuscript is an extreme, one-of-a-kind case, for sure. But it forces you to think about the power we all hold. It's this incredible testament to the idea that with language, we can build entire universes and defend them with everything we have. Which makes you wonder, what can your language build, and what can it fight against?